Okay, so I'm going to be testing some different grass mods and comparing their performance and their beauty at various, just basically comparing like to like. And let's start, of course, with vanilla. So with vanilla, you are going to have, there's only three grass types per texture. That means on a given section of land, you're only going to have three different grasses, and your density is going to be 20. Now, density is actually a weird correlation where each grass type has a density set in the ESP. So like if you have like a tree that appears on as painted as grass on the landscape, you might set that to like a density of 1, whereas if you have something grass you want to appear really densely, you might set that to like 30 or so, and those are vanilla values. Now what some grass mods do is they set those densities as high up as 255 in the ESP, and then you change grass size up to like 70 or 90, and that's supposed to give more density at better performance. I haven't really found that to be the case. It's the number of meshes you have on the ground is the number of meshes is the performance you get, so it doesn't really make a difference which value change, but it's a sliding scale. So vanilla, you can set the density to 20, and your in the ESP it ranges from like 1 to 30, and then your types per texture is 3, so we have basically no variety. So this is the amount, this number tells you how much variety you're going to have, and this number gives you an idea of what the grass mod thinks about density. So let's start with vanilla. I've already set up some saves, and this is pretty much a vanilla load order. You can see right now which mods I have checked, some basic ones that I think are essential to really doing any launching Skyrim, basically, like the unofficial patch, and one tweak so I can alt-tab and double-check values. And then I'm also running Vivid Weathers and Vividian ENB. I'm not running any retextures. Uh, it's really funny because sometimes I'll post screenshots when I'm testing mods and I don't have any of my graphics mods installed besides just a basic ENB, usually Vividian because I do like it quite a bit. And people will ask me, oh, what mod list are you using? This looks so wonderful. And it's like, I'm not using any mods. This is what vanilla looks like. You can see it looks kind of nice. There's a reason that this game has had so much longevity. It's 5.5 years old now. And alright, so this is vanilla, and you can see we actually don't have any grass at all in this region. There's just nothing. And the reason I've started here is because there are mods that add grass here. There's actually one mod I like that does something very unique and cute here. And so I wanted to include that in my comparison. So like I said, I set up some saves to look at different areas and look at their performance. So let's go take a look at a couple of those. I try to set saves in places where there are different landscape textures. So like the Reach has one landscape texture and Falkreath has another. You see I did kill some wolves here earlier. So basically just to see, you can see we're up to 83 FPS here. So again, I don't have VSync on so that I can see the FPS changes. This means I do have, of course, some horrible flickering. Give everyone epilepsy if I move around the map. Actually, it's not so bad right now. But it lets me see the FPS changes, so we're up to 85 now, and this is with the performance version of Vividian. So next, let's go to a spot that I really like quite a bit. This is on the path between Rorikstead, Markarth, and Falkreath, where you would go if you're trying to decide where to go. And I really like the spot for screenshots. You've got the nice view of the fort if you go down the hill a little. And it's raining, so raining's really gonna tank your FPS. So even though the rain looks quite nice, I'm just gonna force it to be sunny again so we have a more consistent measure. You can see our FPS is about 75. This is also a good spot to see these trees. So you can see we've got like 3 grass types here, and our FPS is around 72, which is pretty good. The density is not super high. Yeah, so let's go to another one of my favorite spots. This is where I start every game when I'm testing a mod. It's Whiterun Exterior 01, and it pops you right. It's interesting because the center of cell on vanilla is on the road. The center of cell on, if you've got cutting room floor or one of those mods running is actually in the stable, like right behind the horse's butt. So this is the tundra. And you can see vanilla tundra is very red. This is actually, and it's got some scattered trees. This is actually fairly realistic. They knew their botany here, and you'll see a lot of people change this. A lot of people want the tundra to be a forest. A lot of people want the tundra to be bright green. So this is vanilla, and you can see pretty, not very much grass, and the grass is really tall considering how dense it is. It's like these big patches of tall grass with nothing in between, which I think that disparity between tall grass and then nothing is part of what people don't like about vanilla. If the grass was shorter and blend in more, people would be more happy about that. So we're at about 74 FPS. Let's go to another one of my favorite spots in Riverwood. This is a little fern area. And the fern here is in fact painted as a grass. There are two kinds of ferns in Skyrim, one that acts like a grass, and then one that's its separate mesh, and this is the one that acts like a grass. You can also see the snow grasses here, these white grasses appear on snowy land. I really don't see what the point is. Oh, okay. Hi, crazy lady.
He's cozy in his solitude.
I'm sure he is. So you can see FPS here is a little lower, probably because of the density of the ferns here. And of course the trees and the mountains and so on. Yeah, we get it, crazy lady. And then if there's another spot here I like as well. This shows more of the tundra grass, and then also, in some of the mods they do an interesting thing up here, which you can see there's almost no grass at all here in vanilla. And the performance reflects that. We're up to 78 FPS. Let's look at some more snowy grasses. This is really the part I don't like. I don't think there should be grasses in the snowy areas. Once you've got a pretty good layer of snow on the ground, you're really not going to see any grass sticking up through that. It's going to be flattened down by the snow. So maybe in a windy area where the wind is blowing the snow back off the grass, but also these grasses are just plain ugly. And even when you've got a mod that redoes them to be nicer, it's still not great. So it also negatively impacts performance. So I actually, when I'm customizing a grass mod to my taste, I delete these snow grasses and get rid of them entirely. I imagine you guys are getting pretty sick of vanilla, so let's just look at a few more places. I want to look at the swamp here. And you can see, again, we've got yet another grass type here. Pretty much just one type on these textures. And performance is down to 60, mostly because of the very long view distance. We can see all the way to Solitude from here. Which direction is Solitude? It's that way. No, wait. It doesn't matter. Point is, we've got a long view distance, so there's a lot of LOD trees showing up on this. And again, this is vanilla, so the LODs are going to look like shit. And if I were doing this on my real mod list, I would have billboard trees with dino LOD that look a lot better. What else have we got left? There's some different textures on the beach and so on, but you don't really need to see them to know that they're kind of shit. So it's really just, I liked this. Ooh, yeah, okay. We're going to go to Falkreath and then to Riften, and then we're going to call it quits and go look at a mod, which is what you guys are here for. It's really interesting how many people don't play vanilla before. So this actually pretty much looks exactly like you can see I've got my timescale set really high. I must have done that in the save. So this looks pretty much exactly like Riverwood, so that's very interesting. We'll go to here, and this is in the Rift, so it's going to show us what Rift grasses look like. You'll notice I didn't go to Windhelm. That's because Windhelm really doesn't have any grass. It's a great place to look if you want to look at rocks. Not so much for grass, and that looks pretty ugly. So yeah, it's our grass textures, and I'm not even running the high-res texture pack. I'm not sure if the high-res texture pack touches grass. Oh, hi bandits! So we're just gonna leave the bandits alone. And come on, go back here. We're gonna start with Unbelievable Grass 2. So this, I actually had to go back into the Wayback Machine to figure out what the grass sands were supposed to be. So it appears that it recommends 50 and 10 as the setting. So 50 is kind of a weird in-between number. I noticed when I looked in the ESP that it had grass density set up to 255 in the ESP, so again that's a maximum density. So I think when we set this to 50 it's going to be pretty dense. But we'll just have to take a look and see what that looks like. Yeah. Slow loading screens. I think it's mostly ENB and maybe the crash fixes. I'm using the preloader so that I can use crash fixes, memory management. Not so much that I need it, but more of that I'm super lazy and didn't make a new SKSE any after I deleted my Skyrim mods folder. Yeah, it takes 10 minutes to download Skyrim and like a half an hour to set everything up again, and it's a pain in the neck. So you can see there's actually grass here now with Unbelievable Grass 2. It doesn't look so good. Just kind of samey, I guess. And it's in the road as well, which I'm not a fan of. And this is using the tweak they use to keep grasses off the roads and out of the buildings. It's also got these pebbles here, which I don't like. I delete those. But our performance is pretty good. We're at 75, which is pretty similar to vanilla here. So yeah, let's go check another part of Riften out. But Unbelievable Grass 2, it's no longer available on Nexus, and I thought it was a part of Enhanced Landscapes, but I went and double checked the Enhanced Landscapes description when I was looking for the values to set the ini to, and it actually isn't the same mod. It's a different mod. It's based on it, but it's not the same thing. So this mod's not available anymore in its existing form, and I'm not really sure why. ACQ I think he kind of likes doing this limited availability thing that a lot of especially Asian modders like to do, and that might be what's going on there. But, yeah, that's nice. So this is using the low-res textures, and you can see that it's not really negatively impacted by using 512 textures at all. In fact, I'm not sure it's worth it to go any higher. Grass is pretty small. And these textures look very crisp. I don't think it's a negative impact to be at the low res. The density isn't quite what I would like. For this style of grass seems like it ought to be more dense. And again, I'm at the most dense setting that he would recommend for this mod. You can go down to 20, but your performance will tank and it won't look... You'll have meshes stacked on top of each other, which doesn't look so good. So that's that. What are the reach? Again, I don't have any mods running, no tree mods or anything, so the trees are going to continue to look kind of shitty until I get into a tree mod section. So that actually looks fairly nice. You can see it's added these these aspen leaves, these red aspen leaves on the ground. That actually would go really well with realistic aspen trees. I'm just going to ignore the bandits. Where you've got this mix of red and golden trees. When you've got the vanilla golden aspen trees, it doesn't really match up. You're like, oh, where'd these come from? And the grass itself is not that nice. You can see it's not an issue of the resolution because it looks quite crisp. If you can see in between all the blood and the blur. Okay, die! This is the problem with doing Skyrim videos, is there's people in Skyrim. mess up all your looking at pretty flora and stuff. Okay. That's dealt with. Die. Alright. Anyways, you can see it looks pretty crisp. We're not seeing any... I am using SMA anti-aliasing with the AMB here, and you can see that that doesn't seem to be an issue. So I wouldn't necessarily... I'm not even going to test higher resolutions because I think basically it's just going to take up more VRAM and not actually look better. But let's look at a few different areas and see if we can kind of pick up on some of the unique flowers that this mod adds to make different regions look different and sort of add some variety to the land of Skyrim. And you can see here we've got a lot of ferns. That's actually, there are ferns in vanilla, but I really like these low to the ground textures, although the way they still sway in the breeze is a little funny. You can actually turn that off in the ESP, and I'm surprised he didn't do that when you've got something that's very low to the ground. You can make it, no, it doesn't react to wind, and he's still got it reacting to the wind, which doesn't look right. I actually don't like the way the flora... Oh, look. Lovely, lovely vivid weather snow again. It's totally going to fuck up performance, so let's turn that back off. I actually don't like the way that the leaves sway in the wind here. It just looks like they jiggle. And, like, it doesn't look right. So I often turn that off because it's more performance, and the way the branches not moving in the wind never really bothered me. But the branches moving, especially in a high wind where they're just kind of wiggling back and forth in a way that's not very realistic, that does bother me. So it's like, turn it off, get another frame and a half or so, and be slightly more immersive, or at least equally immersed. Again, very crisp textures here. The density here is really nice. I really like how this looks overall. And again, the performance is reflecting that. We're down to 64, but I think that's still pretty comparable to vanilla on performance there. Did we go here yet? I think. I don't remember. So this is one of my favorite spots. It's a great place. This is right on the path between Markarth and Rorikstead and Falkreath, that corner. And my apologies that I've said this before, but I just think this is a really great spot for screenshots, and also you can see a few different things here. The architecture of the fort. And go away, rain! Grasses here are pretty similar to this is a mix of the reach grasses and then the more forest type grasses here. So you actually get both types here, and our performances, we're at 60 right now. So that's what you would shoot for rain, and considering this is a mod list with nothing in it, I mean just the EMB and the grass mod, and then you're going to want to start adding, you know, denser trees, bigger trees, more NPCs, higher res textures on top of that, and you're going to drop below 60. So you can see if we're at 60 just with the EMB and the grass mod, and this is performance EMB, you're not going to have a good time. Okay, I actually really don't like this at all. So this is wild carrot or Queensland's lace, something like that, which is a really common plant. But in two-dimensional, like that, it doesn't look good. So I'm not a big fan of that. And also, I don't think you would see it in a marshy, snowy area like this. It's a summer plant. And it likes dry places, so it's really not going to be happy here. So I'm not real happy with that plant. You can see the rest is just basically a retexture of what vanilla was. So we're not getting any big advantages here, and actually I think it looks worse because of this flower here that just doesn't belong. And the performance is worse. We obviously have higher density here than vanilla. Vanilla, we were well above... This was the lowest frame rate spot, and you can see we're down to 53 FPS. Vanilla, we were still above 60 vanilla, so this is not so good. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't use Unbelievable Grasses. It does add these flowers that don't really make sense in these places, and... Whoa, super dense. Again, I would be deleting all of this. I don't think that it belongs here. I think the snow would tamp down the grass and make it invisible, and this is way dense. So if you want a really grassy, snowy land, It looks like Unbelievable Grass is your mod here. Just not a fan. So let's take a screenshot of that. You can see the variety here isn't really that big. And we're gonna move on to... We haven't looked at the tundra yet, have we? So we're gonna move on to the tundra. Which is, again, right outside Whiterun. The first thing you see, besides Riverwood. Yeah. Well, the first thing you see is gonna be by Helgen, which is... Whoa, look at that! So if you want yellow, dead-looking tundra, super dense, this looks like a golf course except without any of the good parts. Yeah, not a fan. I do like those purple flowers, and that is something I wish the other mods came in. We're actually at super low FPS down here, down to 44, which is just not reflecting well in this model, and considering it looks good, but let's go take a look where we can see a little bit of light. I do like, these are Columbine, and, no. I actually can't tell. So here's where the fact that I'm using the lower resolution of the mod kind of comes in. You can see down at the bottom here we've got some kind of seed pods here that don't look very good, and then I can't actually tell what kind of flower these are supposed to be. I think maybe bachelor's buttons. I think that's... They look much better in the two-dimensional form than the that grass takes than the Queen's Anslace did, but and I do like blue flowers, like blue is way to instantly win me over, but I don't think these look good at the low res version of the mod. The grass itself still looks really nice and crisp, but the flowers are just kind of not all the way there. And I think part of that is that he's taken a real life picture of this flower and converted it into a texture, sort of cut out the picture from the behind it, which is something that's really sensitive to lower resolutions. So yeah, it might look better if I was running a higher resolution version of the mod, but I'm not sure it would be worth the VRAM hit. You can see we're already well above 2000 here, which is really pretty bad. Okay, and here's the other reason I don't like this. Maybe if you're using a texture that matched the grass color better, this would look really good, but you can see such a sharp cutoff between the grasses and the lawn behind it, and there's no way to make the grass extend further. I've got the maximum grass setting, so this is what you're going to get, and pretty low FPS and a huge difference. You really want to try and minimize that difference between your distant LOD textures and your near grass, because that's really what's going to affect you when you're loading new cells in. So we go take a look here. And there's really not that much variety here. It's pretty much just the same grasses, which is funny because we do have 10 grass types per texture here, and you can see it. Oh, we've got these red things in here, so that's interesting, and these yellow things, which are the same as red things, just yellow. And the blue grasses are nice, but if you were gonna say, oh yeah, that's a place where we've got a ton of wildflowers, you would have like a dozen different types of wildflowers here, and we're just not seeing that. We're seeing like 2 or 3 different kinds of grass and these seed pods and these blue flowers, and it's looking kind of samey, which I'm not a fan of. So actually it's not so bad, because you can see we were loading the cells as we were coming up. Oh, there you could see it pretty bad. So if we back up here. Come on. Oh, you can't sprint backwards. It's not gonna unload while I'm looking at it, is it? Okay. There we go. No? Okay. So you can see where that popped in. My apologies. Yeah. It's definitely a look, and again, if this is what you want, if you want the super kind of dense, samey grass that's sort of dead looking, well, this mod has it in spades. I just don't think, I think it hits the perfect balance between least realistic and least beautiful. Like, to have this kind of brown, dense grass on the tundra, or how did all this grass grow? How did it get enough nutrients and so on to grow if it's a barren, wind-blown tundra? And on the other hand, to have it all be kind of dead and not green and bright like a lot of people like, it just seems like, I don't know. It's nice. I like the blue flowers quite a bit, and maybe higher resolution again. Would really change my opinion on that because of the blue flowers, but overall right now, I'm not actually seeing them pop in too bad. Like, you can definitely see the line off in the distance, and if that bothers you, well, honestly, there's no fix. But you can see mostly the things are popping in when we're not looking at them when they're on the other side of a hill, so it's not, like, horrible. If we run this way, you can start to see that pop in. It wasn't so bad. I mean, okay, it's a feature of the game engine, and honestly, most game engines are like that, just that modern ones like Witcher 3 can make that draw distance a little further and are better about popping it in places where you won't notice, like when you're behind a hill and you pop it, it pops in while you're behind the hill. So yeah, it's just kind of the nature of it being a game. If you want to see something where you're not seeing that, you can go walk around in real life. Is there anything here I haven't looked at? Falkreath. And then I think we're done here. We'll move on to the next mod. Okay, so this is kind of like Riverwood here. I actually really like this area. These little pink flowers, and you can see these little pink flowers actually look really good even at the low resolution, so I don't think resolution's really our issue here. I think it's just, yeah, I think the blue flowers maybe just are a little lower quality because of the way they were cut out from a real life picture. Possibly makes them harder to tell, but yeah, I like this area. It is what it is.